I'm Sharon. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I noticed as I'm browsing around YouTube that there's a load of fitness videos where we have a tour around somebody's fridge, and it really confused me at first. And then I thought, well, okay, I see where this is going. So I thought, well, my version of that is have a look around my music room. You really don't want to be looking in my fridge. There's all sorts of leftover veg and carrots and roast dinner and a bit of a yogurty mix thing, and it makes me laugh as well because you look, they say, oh, I do apologise about the state of my fridge, and then you look and it's absolutely pristine, like this one shelf completely filled with organic supplements or things like that, and then you've got all these like nicely sealed salads and veggies and things that, you know. So taking that to heart, I thought, well, have a look around my music room, and I will just say I've not particularly tidied it up. This is kind of it. This is the workroom, as it were, and it is a workroom. So it's not some gorgeous architectural dream with a Bechstein grand piano. It's a workroom. It's an everyday workroom, and I'm so grateful to even have just a small music room. You know, for years and years, when the family were growing up, I just had a piano in the living room, and that's where I'd teach a couple of nights a week and so on. So to have a whole room exactly for my own work purposes feels like an utter luxury. So welcome to my little workstation, my humble abode. And if I just sort of show you what's going on around in this room, there's lots of little touches that bring back so many memories, so I'll just sort of work my way around. And the first thing I think is the artwork that's on the walls, and so you can see there's a picture, there's a couple of prints of Mozart, and it was his birthday yesterday. That was, what day was yesterday? Wednesday the 27th of January, so I'm recording this on the Thursday. Yes, you lose track of the days, don't you? And so that sort of seems appropriate to show you these prints that my husband did. And this is when we were at art college, when I first met him in our young teenage days. And I think the first one, I should know this, I think the first one is a silkscreen print of an autograph. And then the other one, it's a little bit cheeky, is like a metal etching print. And the subject matter for that is a little bit cheeky, but Mozart was absolutely obsessed with flatulence, and he used to write letters to his sister about it. And so we just thought it was really funny at the time, and it stayed with us all of these decades later. Behind me, above the piano, are a couple of original pencil sketches that my husband did of a series that I absolutely loved in the 80s, which was the Morse Detective series. And Morse was really quite a cultured fellow, and so we used to listen to, we used to watch the TV programmes, and it was always kind of guess the composer as all the different sound clips were going on, and I truly love these pencil sketches, so they are kind of my little treasure just above the piano. Over by the desk there are 3 prints of Fasimil's, is that how you say it? Fasimil copy of Haydn's Sonata in E flat. There's the first page from each movement, and I love the piece and I love playing the piece, but I just love the look of music as well. I think it's just a work of art in itself, and I really love the old manuscript fountain pen sort of ink manuscript notation and so on. So they're a thing of beauty on so many levels. I realise that I've left out a few very, very important personages here. So in my music room, this is a very important figure. On your right, you can see Maximus Stopimus with his marvellous moustache. He's Maximus Stopimus because his job is to stop the door hitting the piano. And then one of my pupils bought me the little pussycat on the left, whose name is Minimus, who keeps him company. And then I need to introduce you to a very old friend, and you can see by his nose that he's had a very, very tough life over the years, and so he now enjoys a semi-retirement in the music room with a little pal there. and he's got a very important job of keeping the headphones to hand and ready, because you know, when I'm practicing certain things, there are some things that nobody needs to hear just now, and so he's got that very important job there. Also, whilst we're on the topic of artwork, here are a couple of little images that are on my wall in the music room. So I absolutely love the Jane Austen. I think that was from a Punch illustration, and then the image below, that was from a Private Eye magazine, and I think we've all felt like that. And to be honest, I'd be quite happy to throw a few wet paper towels at myself when I'm practicing, which is why the bear keeps the headphones to hand, because there are some things that people just don't need to hear, and so I absolutely love those. So moving across the room, so there's my desk area, which is, again, yeah, it's a workstation, so it's not a posh system at all, but that's where I produce all of my videos, and that's going to get busier than ever as I get my new systems in place. So that's kind of the command centre. Next to that, there's a bookcase with just all my random messy filing, and that bit, no matter what I do with that, I just can't quite tidy it up. It's the workaday paperwork station, and no amount of tidying seems to keep that neat and tidy. It is what it is. It's like the music room version of the man drawer, where it's always that one drawer sort of full of screws and elastic bands and bits and bobs. So that's that bit. There's not much I can do about that. However, above that, on this little bookshelf, is kind of the crowning glory, really, of my music room. So on the top of it, I'm looking up and I can see a paper flower arrangement that was given to me by my daughter and husband on their wedding day. I just love it, and it's made up out of books and so on. And there's a hand with a rose in it, and I used to really hate that rose. It's part of our choir uniform, and I used to think it was the naffest, ugliest thing ever. But I feel quite sentimental about it now, because I haven't sung in choir for so many months. It's sort of overshadowed with nostalgia now. But I really like that hand with the rose in as well, because it's kind of a little bit gothic. It's a little bit sort of horror movie, The Beast with Five Fingers. So that just makes me chuckle a little bit. And there's the picture of my grandma, who I never actually met. She's playing the grand piano they used to have. How marvellous. And then underneath it, actually on the bookcase, I still can't believe that I've got this. It's the Grove Dictionary of Music. And it's just massive. And it's not just the Grove Dictionary of Music, it's actually the dictionary set of music that was in the school where I went to. And so when I was doing my O-level music, I remember it was kept in a glass book cabinet, and you had to ask for the key to be able to go and look something up in the Grove Dictionary. And nobody would use that now. You just kind of look it up on the internet and find whatever you're looking for. And so it was all packed away, and it had sat in a kind of a storage room for decades. And I teach piano at the school that I used to attend. And I remember saying to the current head, I said, there used to be this absolutely amazing set of Grove in a bookcase, and where's it gone? You, what a shame. And she said, oh, it'll be in there, whatever. And so I rummaged, and she let me rummage away. And God bless her, she allowed me to buy it. And so that is the very, very set of books that I used to naively glance through. And yeah, there it is on my shelf. I'm so grateful to her for letting me have that. And she was just so kind. And yeah, you know, I think it's the 1980 something version, but it's not kind of like it's really going to go out of date, because Mozart's always Mozart, isn't he? And so moving around the room, oh yeah, there's my husband's guitar. That just seems to have parked itself there for a while. And then, so behind me is my piano, which is my Kawai CS11. And it's pretty new to me. I've only had it for 2 or 3 years now, and I absolutely love it. It was a big thing for me to jump to digital, and there's a whole vlog about that. But I've had all sorts of pianos over the time. I had a really ancient grand piano that was an old pianola converted into a grand. I've had all sorts of uprights and so on, but this is kind of my forever piano. I absolutely love it. And I went for digital in the end just because it's bashed so often, so many times a day, every single day, that I just felt like tuning was just going to be an issue no matter what I did. And because digital pianos, especially the Kawai, is just so brilliant, it was so close, it was just, I had to go for this. I do appreciate that it's not exactly quite the same as an acoustic piano, but it just provided a best alternative for me, and I do love it. And I love it's like chocolate under your fingers when you play it. I love it. To the right of me here is my old Yamaha digital that I used to have decades and decades ago when the kids were growing up. And originally I'd given that to my daughter. However, on the start of all of the COVID social distancing and so on, when I could teach at home, if I'd got sort of risk assessments in place, it was better for me to teach on 2 pianos, keeping the distancing, and then I could wipe down that piano for my pupils and this would still be for me. However, when all of that is over, God willing, when that is over, I'm afraid I'm keeping the piano, because teaching on 2 pianos is just so marvellous. I'm not going back to squishing onto just sharing one piano where I have to squish and try and play everything up the top octave to demonstrate. So I'm afraid it's 2 pianos now. And although it did mess up the layout of the room, because I did used to have a nice little easy chair sitting there, I'm afraid it's a workroom. And so this is the workhorse piano as well. And then I've just got, you know, my ISM and my degree and my diploma certificates there. And in this little bubble, this is my world. Oh, I suppose I ought to just mention the bookcases over here as well, all of my music books. And then again, I've got a good chunk of Eulenberg miniature scores, which I absolutely love. Now, a fair chunk of those are mine anyway, from various studies I've done over the years, or also perhaps if I'd seen some on sale in a library where they were selling them off, I'd just get a few. And it's just nice to just follow the score through and listen to some music sometimes, just for a bit of relaxation. But then again, I was tidying out a storeroom and the head of music just said, well, you know, if you want to take a few, by all means do so. So she was very generous, and so I increased my little stock of Eulenberg scores there. And down at the bottom, I've got the great composers, and I have all of the CDs. And I remember I'd only just got married, and we used to really scrimp and save so that I could have one of those. I think it was one of these once a fortnight collections, and you build up. And I still refer to it. It's just a great little resource for just general knowledge and so on. And so this is my little workroom. Welcome to my home. This is where it all goes on. And yeah, just spend most of my days locked in this little room. Thanks for watching. Bye.